Hey there, it's Erin here at Readwise again. Now that you've learned the basics of using Reader, let me go ahead and show you one of our more advanced functionalities called filtered views. Filtered views are how you can organize all of your content in Reader and build out powerful workflows based on your own goals and interests. Once you master filtered views, you're going to be able to completely customize your Reader account to your personal liking. Let me show you how. In short, imagine that your Reader account is just one giant database of documents, like what you might find in Notion or Airtable. A filtered view is how you can select documents in this database based on any combination of attributes. This can include things like title, length, date, tags, and more. For example, you'll learn that all these sections on the left-hand sidebar of your Reader account are just filtered views, looking for a document of a specific type. As an example, the section here called Books is just a filtered view, looking for documents categorized as EPUB files. If you don't use Books in your workflow, you can easily delete this default view and maybe add it back someday in the future when it makes sense. The same goes for all these views in your home screen. These are just default views, which you can easily customize to your liking, and I'll show you how to do this later.
Okay, so at this point, you might be thinking, why not just use something like folders? There's actually a couple of reasons, and I want to make sure I take you through those.
First, one cool thing about filtered views is that they're flexible. If all you want is folders of group documents, you can definitely do that. Just tag documents with whatever folder name you'd like to give them, and then click on the tag. But filtered views can be so much more powerful than just basic sorting. The second reason is that a folder assumes mutual exclusivity. What I mean by this is that if you want to create a folder containing documents relevant to, say, an article you're writing, those relevant documents can only live in that folder. What if you want to write a second article that references the same document? You either need to move it from folder 1 to folder 2, or even worse, you have to create a duplicate copy of that file, which can create a lot of clutter over time. Filtered views free you from this limitation. The same document can appear in multiple views at the same time. The final reason is that folders are static, requiring a lot of work to maintain. Filtered views, on the other hand, are dynamic and update automatically. For example, let's say you want to create a workflow where once a week you review every article you've already highlighted at least twice in the past week. To do this with a folder would require a lot of discipline. With filtered views, however, you can just set up a query and that view will always be up to date. I'll dive into writing your own queries like this more in the later half of this video. The easiest way to get started with filtered views is just to click on a parameter you want to filter for from the right-hand sidebar. For example, you can click on an author to filter for all the documents in your library from this person. Alternatively, in your feed section, you can click on a source to see all the documents coming from this particular RSS feed. You can also click on a document tag to see all the documents in your library that have this tag applied. Now, this filter is currently unsaved, meaning it's temporary. But if you want to save this view for quick access in the future, just click on the Save button and it'll ask you to enter a name. I strongly recommend you start the name of your filtered view with a little emoji, which will serve as a de facto icon here in the left-hand sidebar. Once your save view is pinned to the sidebar, you can just drag and drop to rearrange them. If you're a big fan of keyboard shortcuts, you can always hover over a filtered view and you'll see this keyboard shortcut number. This will allow you to jump into that filtered view and between filtered views directly from your keyboard. You can also toggle this view on or off in your home screen and change its position just by jumping into the Configure section. If you hit V on your keyboard, this will pull up our quick switcher, which again will allow you to easily jump between filtered views. Now, let's say you want this filtered view in your Reader account, but it's not important enough to be pinned to the left-hand sidebar. In this case, you can click on the name in the top bar and select Unpin. You can also split your filtered views based on certain properties. For example, if you have a triage workflow where you want to see which documents are in your inbox, later, and archive tabs, you can simply click on Triage. Or if you have a feed style workflow, you can filter your documents based on scene status. Finally, you can add a counter badge to this filtered view, which is going to let you know, just by glancing at the left-hand sidebar, how many documents are in the first split of this view. So, as I just demonstrated, clicking metadata is the easiest way to get started with filtered views. The second easiest is to use either the Manage Feeds or Manage Tags pages. Here's an example. As Readwise's community manager, I subscribe to a lot of community building feeds and newsletters that I'd like to group into one community-focused filtered view. To do this, I'll head to the Manage Feeds page and locate a feed I want to incorporate into this filtered view. From this drop-down menu, I'm going to select Create a New View from Feed, and I'm going to call this one Community Building. All right, once I've created this custom view, I can assign more feeds to it. Now, let's say in addition to these RSS feeds, I also want to fold in Documents Tag Community into this filtered view. To do this, I can just jump into the Manage Tags page, find the tag, and add it to the Community Building filtered view I just created. The most powerful way to use filtered views, but admittedly the highest bar, is to use a specific query. You've probably already seen these queries when you're hovering over a filtered view at the very top. If you click on this plus icon and go to Add New Filtered View, and then click on Launch Filtering Guide, you'll see all the different parameters you can string together to build your own custom query. Now, we realize this is kind of a little daunting to use as it stands. In the near future, we're going to make it much easier to build out custom queries without having to pull up this Notion doc. If you've ever played with tables in Notion or run an advanced search in Twitter, this shouldn't be too advanced for you as it stands. For the time being, let me give you an example of how I've strung together some custom queries to build a really powerful filtered view. My main focus with work right now is improving our Discord community experience. Now, I can pull a filtered view for articles tag community, but looking at this feels a little bit too broad. Let me add on another parameter, which will search for documents tag community, but also have Discord in the title. Okay, this is looking a little bit better. Looking through this, I'm realizing articles focused on onboarding, not just Discord, would also be helpful here. So let me adjust this a little bit more. Okay, so what I've come up with here is a new custom query that will filter for documents that have been tagged community and also contain either Discord or onboard in the title. Looking through this new filtered view, it looks like I have a lot of inspiration and ideas to draw from. If at any point you want to explore or edit your filtered views, simply click on this blue plus icon on the left-hand sidebar and head to the Manage Filtered Views page. Here, you'll find the default filtered views created for your home screen, which can give you some inspiration for some of your own filtered views. From here, you can also clean up, rename, and delete any existing views from your Reader account. All right, so that's how you can further customize your Reader experience using filtered views. I hope this video helped you get set up with a handful of your own bespoke filters and start to make your Reader account feel a little bit more like home. As always, please feel free to comment below or send our team an email if you have any questions, or if you just want to share how you're using filtered views in your own workflow. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you in the next one.